Good morning, students. See, first we will discuss the doubts of chapter number 9 and 10. First, doubts from 32 years book. Take your book, chapter number 9. In question number 1 to 10, first of all, have you solved? Okay, then tell me. Question number 1 to 10, any doubt? Okay. First, question number 2. Question number 2, that mad cow disease in cattle is caused by an organism. Remember that thing you have learned in 11th standard, chapter number 2, last topic, prions. Remember or not? Yes, Sakshi. Right? So answer is B, Bombay. Prions are just abnormally folded proteins. Right? Virus, viroid, prions. Next question number 6. Among the following edible fishes, which one is a marine fish? आपके पास लिस्ट है? The given in textbook. Yes, so उसमें मैक्रेल दिया है. Mackerel in which category? Marine category. Right? So answer is D, Delhi. Right? Rest all fishes, remember they are freshwater. Then next, question number 7. Question number 7, a system of rotating crops with legumes or grass pasture to improve the soil structure and fertility is called. Now, see, different types of the farmings are there. If farming, ये आपने generally देखा होगा in many farming lands. If farming like in this pattern, right, this we call strip farming. Strips are formed of that crop, 1, 2, 3, like that. So this one we call strip farming. Next, second, that shifting agriculture. Do you, I think you have learned this shifting agriculture, right? In lower standard. Zoom cultivation, shifting agriculture, right? Forest को burn करते, then ash is formed. Yes, okay. Next thing that is shifting agriculture. Next, that's a counter farming. Counter farming in that farming, okay, farming on that slope line. Can you make out over here? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So farming occur over here with a particular shape, generally on the slope, that we call the counter farming. And the last one, that's the lay farming. Lay farming meaning what? That's the shifting, meaning first on a same, okay, in a soil, that farmers grow pulses, legume. After harvesting of that legume, now second time farmers do not that sow the seeds of the pulses, but the other crop, like the cereals are there. लेग्यूम्स आर नेसेसरी. लेग्यूम्स से क्या होता है, दैट द सॉइल फर्टिलिटी, नाइट्रोजन लेवल इंक्रीज in the soil. So to increase the fertility of soil, one is a legume with that the other crop. So first legume, then cereal, legume, cereal, legume, cereal. Like that cultivation occur, that we call lay farming. Clear, Pusti? Next, 11 to 20. 11 to 20. Okay, question number 12. PCR and RAPD जो है, right? वो आपको अभी नहीं समझ में आएगा. That's in chapter number 11. Polymerase chain reaction, that is the correct answer, and the RPD. So write over that. Next, only 12 number. 17. Okay, the viability of seeds is tested by, okay, the answer is C, DMSO, that chemical name dimethyl sulfoxide. Sorry, my mistake. Answer is actually 235, but DMSO is full form, remember, that's a dimethyl sulfoxide. Answer is 235 triphenyl tetraazolium chloride. This chemical is helpful to find out the viability of seed. If viability is gone, then seeds cannot germinate. But if viability is there, seeds can germinate, right? So to testing for that, this chemical is used, right? Next. Question number 21 to 30. Question number 21 to 30. Question number 26. Remember for that the chapter number 6. Mutations जो है, okay. First you have to understand that. Question number 28. Right? Extra है. Okay, no need to remember actually. But consider the following 4 measures that. Question number 28. Polyethylene glycol, right? Question number 28. Am I correct? This one, na? Polyethylene glycol method is used for. Okay. Gene transfer without a vector. Again, chapter number 11. To make a host competent. Okay. Without vector, how can we transfer a gene? Okay. One species gene that enter into the other one. Without a vector, without using any other organism, how can we transfer that gene? For that, this chemical is utilized. So you understand gene transfer without a vector, that concept in chapter number 11. Remember one thing that simple, आपने somatic hybridization learn किया है, right? Somatic hybridization, in that two somatic cells are there, two somatic cells of different species. Remember that tomato, suppose one is a potato cell, other is a tomato cell. both the cell fuse with each other, and then their nuclei also fused, right? So here transfer of one gene to the another, or vice versa over here. How? Just by fusing their protoplast. Cell wall remove karte, middle lamella remove karte, right, with the help of cellulose and pectinase, and only with the that's a cell membrane. Cell membrane is there. Cell membrane plus that cytoplasmic content together, we call that's a protoplast. So protoplast fusion is performed. This fusion of two cells performed by this chemical. Short form is a PEG, polyethylene glycol. One more chemical is used that we call sodium nitrate. Remember this. Polyethylene glycol and sodium nitrate. Right? So here no vector is utilized. Just to fuse this both the cells and this nuclei also that come into that cell, hybrid cell. We can say that. Clear hai? Remember these two words, polyethylene glycol and sodium nitrate. Next question. Okay, 31 to 40. 31 to 40, 31. Which one of the following is linked to the discovery of Bordeaux mixture as a popular fungicide? Right? In that, remember the answer given, that's a downy mildew of grapes. Bordeaux mixture, in that actually that mixture that acts as a fungicide, right, which kills the fungus. Copper sulfate and calcium hydroxide, इसके composition से ये compound form होता है, that we call that's a Bordeaux mixture, right? Just for your extra information. Next, 33. Compared to a bull, a bullock is docile because of, right? You know the bullfight. आपने देखा होगा. Okay, even heard that bullfight. Why? See, if more testosterone, then remember more aggressiveness. Less testosterone, less aggressiveness. Right? So bullfight, आपने देखे तो in that the bulls are so much aggressive. Why? Because in bulls, testosterone amount in a blood is high. यहाँ पे आपके बुलॉक के बारे में पूछा है. Bullock is docile, right? So answer is B, Bombay, lower level of blood testosterone. Next, 37. Just a second. Crop plants grown in monoculture are. Monoculture meaning what? In a land, in a one type of land, just grow only one type of variety. Okay, one type of variety of plants are growing in a one field, so we call monoculture. Now, if this condition is there, then if pests are there, you know the pest which damage the plant, right? So this pest can easily get the that food over here by that only one type, which is actually the food of that pest. So In that type of soil where only one type of species grow, that things we can consider that is highly prone to pest. Pest can easily grow over there, right? And pest can easily damage the plants also. That's why answer is A. Next, 40, critical. The first man-made cereal crop. Okay, remember this combination. Wheat variety, it's a art by, see, this critical variety is formed. You know Triticum aestivum for the wheat, scientific name, right? So remember, it's this critical variety is formed by artificial hybridization. In that, wheat plant crossed with the rye variety, mustard. Wheat plant crossed with the rye variety, and that we call the triticale. That is the first man-made crop, right? And next, 41 to 50. 41 to 50, 47. 47, in that the given answer that you have to remember, that option A. Okay, totally out of syllabus, no need to remember actually. 47. 49. If a diploid cell is treated with colchicine, then it becomes colchicine. Remember colchicine role you have learned in the 11th standard cell cycle in division. Can anyone tell me what is the role of colchicine? बोलिए आस्था गोखले, unmute and speak.
Yes, ma'am. It is like, I don't exactly remember, but it is like drug or medicine or something like that.
Drug or medicine. For cell cycle and cell division, right? We are talking in this aspect for colchicine. Colchicine that arrests the cell cycle, arrest cell cycle or cell division, right, at metaphase. How? It inhibits the spindle fiber formation, tubulin polymerization. So by this way, it arrays the cell at the metaphase. Suppose this is a one diploid cell, this is another diploid cell, right? Now, when these two diploid cells, when treated with colchicine, meaning what? Now these cells are arrested over here at the metaphase. All chromosomes are remain as it is. They are not divided into two daughter cells. So when these cells are fused, then now the condition arises. 2n का 2n ही रहने वाला है यहाँ पे. Same for over here, right? So at this point, when we fuse the cell, then 2n plus 2n, which condition arises? 4n, because cell arrested at the metaphase. I hope you all are remember what is metaphase, anaphase. I'm not discussing this one now, right? So 2n 2n है, so 4n. Suppose आपको ऐसे दे कि triploid cells are there, right? Triploid hai. See, one more thing that understand over here, this is a 2n. 2n cell, right? For that, you should understand that, remember G1 as G2 and then mitosis division. If you remember that. Suppose consider this is the G2 one. Now in that the mitosis occur, and by mitosis, this condition arises, yes or no? At the end of the mitosis, this condition arises, right? Separation of sister chromatids. So G2 के बाद just imagine the now cell going into prophase, metaphase, right? So metaphase, in that chromosomes like this, no, due to no spindle fiber formation over here, chromosome remain like, okay, in a scattered form, remain as it is, no division in that. So that is the actually double amount compared to the daughter cell of the which one? Daughter cell of the mitosis. So remember, tetraploid condition arise. 2n 2n 4n हो जाएगा वहां पे. Next, yes Priya, in mitosis doubling pattern, cells number double. 51 to 60. 51 to 60. 61 to 70. 62. Okay, we will discuss in biotechnology chapters 11 and 12, because hybridoma cells, right, to form that particular antibody. We will learn this concept in chapter number 11 and 12, hybridoma cells. Next, 66, just remember, okay, it's a fact that febrile disease is caused by that the silkworm. 70, improvement of human race by controlled selective breeding between individuals with desirable characteristics is called eugenics. Is called eugenics. Control selective breeding means now everything, okay, suitable environments, all suitable conditions provided by the human to that particular plant, right? That's why we used over here eugenics condition. Next, 71 to 80. 71 to 80. Next chapter. It seems now no doubt in this chapter. Chapter number 10, microbes in human welfare. Question number 1 to 10. Question number 1 to 10. No. Next, 11 to 20. 11 to 20. Yes or no, at least right. Okay. 21 to 30. No. 31 to 40. Have you solved? 31 to 40. 29, Priya. See, you know, Priya, legume plants, yes or no? Legume plants, do you know? Priya, unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Leguminous pulses. Can you tell me soya bean comes under that category, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So legume with that, which organism that helps? It acts as a biofertilizer.
Nitrogen fixing bacteria.
Which bacteria?
Ma'am, that was a confusion.
Rhizobium.
Rhizobium. Rhizobium. Okay.
Remember chapter number 12, 11 standard entire,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Okay.
So answer is C. Now clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Next. Okay. 29 done. Next. हितार्थ आपने पूछा है that's the what is marsh gas. Marsh gas meaning remember simply that's the gases are arise or generated from the decaying matter, right? That we call the marsh gas. जो गोबर गैस इसमें मीथेन होता है mainly, right? With the help of the methanogen, this gas is formed. So we call marsh gas. Sorry, Krisha. Next, that's alpha alpha not given in textbook that word, right? But if you remember alpha alpha that word given in chapter number 12, 11th standard. In that so many examples are given. Just make alpha alpha दिया, right? Okay. Next question number 31. Continuous addition of sugar in fed batch fermentation is done to obtain antibiotics. Okay, to obtain what? Antibiotics. Meaning what over here? Fed batch. Okay, just for your information, very briefly, that one container is there, large vessel is there, fermenter that we call, in which substrate is added. Okay, in which substrate is added. Next, fermenting organism is added. Now, at the end over here, once the fermentation begins, product formation start, right? So at one time we add substrate, at one time we add microbes over there, which helps in fertilization. Now give some time for the fermentation process. After that, collect the product. After that, collect the product, right? So over here, product is collected. Now this vessel is ready for the next round. So that type of okay, we can say that fermentation process is a batch form. जैसे आपका होता है ना एक 11th का बैच आता है क्लास में, फिर आप 11th स्टैंडर्ड के स्टूडेंट्स मूव करते हैं, then 12th standard another batch. So like that over here, at one time just substrate and that's the fermenter organism add, and then product, we collect the product after some time. So now the vessel is ready for the next batch, right? This type of fermentation we call fed batch fermentation, that is mainly for obtain antibiotics. Next, 41 to 50. That you have to just remember that name. Okay, just for extra information. Question number 44. Nematodal disease. 50. 50, you have learned this thing. During anaerobic digestion of organic waste, such as In producing biogas, which one of the following is left undegraded? Cellulose. Cellulose, that is the, sorry, my mistake, that is digestible for that organism. Lignin, remember, lignin, my mistake, that's the lignin. Remember lignin in sclerenchyma, impermeable for water, right? It's a complex structure which is not digested. Next, even it affects the decomposition rate also. If lignin present, okay, then it affects the decomposition rate. That we will study in the next chapter. That's the chapter number 14. Next, 51 to 60. 51 to 60. 61 to 70. Just for extra information, 61. Just for your information. No need to prepare that. Question number 61. Same for 64 also. '71, '72, '73. Any doubt? '64 to mean actually that content, okay, given in a chapter number 13. Today we will learn this. Coccinelle insects have proved very useful for cactus prevention. Right? Cactus population can be controlled with the help of this insect because insect eat this plant. 67. Remember, just is the one kind of component that's a rotenone is a insecticide, natural insecticide present in a plant. Right? जैसे आप DDT बोलते हो ना, same way यहाँ पे एक another name है, which is present in a plant. Next. Clear? Again 69 उसमें जो predator prey का दिया है that we will learn today. In chapter number 13. Now any doubt in this? So now we are going to discuss that spiral MCQ booklet. Spiral MCQ booklet. Take the book. Chapter number 9 first. Strategies. in that first question number 1 to 10. Okay, do you have answer key? Now tell me. Question number 1 to 10. Any doubt? Eleven to 20. 11 to 20. 21 to 30. 21 to 30. Nandini, 29 in that, remember 20, that's option number 2, 24. Tissue culture, in vitro practices, tissue culture, the most suitable temperature, that's the 24 degrees Celsius. Okay, it requires and that certain conditions are required. Sterility, right? Then temperature, which temperature? 24 degrees Celsius. This is the most suitable. Next, up to 35. Any doubt? Okay, move to the next one. That is chapter number 10, microbes in human welfare. Very easy. Question number 1 to 10. Any doubt? Eleven to 20 and 21 to 30. It seems no doubt. Okay? It seems no doubt in this chapter in Spiral MCQ booklet, right? So now, okay, first we will get break for 5 minutes, and after break, we will resume with that chapter number 13. Take a break for 5 minutes. In the last class, we have completed up to that's the growth models, right? Exponential and the logistic growth models. Next topic, that's the life history variations. Okay, next topic is the which one? Life history variation. Variation for what over here? Variation in terms of here consider for that reproductive ability. Okay, variation here for mainly which one? That's a reproductive ability. So if you remember that, remember in exponential, even in the logistic growth, one that's a R is there. If you see the exponential, those may be that dn upon dt is equal to rn, or in integral from that's nt is equal to n0 e raised to rt. Those may be rn. Next, that logistic dn by dt is equal to rn in bracket k minus n upon k. Remember this R. R stands for what? R stands for what? Write down. R stands for what? Correct. Only one student give answer. That's the intrinsic rate of natural increase. Right? Intrinsic rate of natural increase. Intrinsic meaning what? Internal factors. Here mainly increase what? Their progeny, the numbers. Right? So by birth, right? By birth, the progeny numbers are increasing, and if more number of progeny, the species can easily survive. More number of progeny, then species can easily survive, right? Though some species, some members are eaten by the predators, right, or killed by the predators, still some members are there which shows the continuity of that species. And in refers to that, okay, Darwin gave that reproductive fitness is a now known as the Darwinian fitness. Darwin talk about this fitness. Okay, survival of the fittest. आपने एक सुना होगा Darwin theories of evolution in that. So here Darwin suggests the reproductive fitness in which the R value, okay, R value is there. R value, remember, for that progeny number. If high R value we consider at what time? When more progeny number. Simple. More progeny number, higher the R value. Right? So higher R value, remember, refers for the more progeny, more offspring. Now, certain organisms are there, variations in which form? Variations, that term is given, variation in which form? In that reproductive ability. So some organisms are there that can breed only once in their lifetime. Only once in their lifetime, some organism. Remember any example which you have learned in chapter number 1? That organism breed, whether it's a plant or animal. We are talking about living organism. So breed only once in their lifetime. Yes, correct. Var is correct. Bamboo. Correct, Tanvi. Right? So one example, it's a bamboo. And second example, that salmon fish, Pacific salmon fish. Right? So some organism breed only once in their lifetime, salmon fish and bamboo. Some organisms are there, they can breed many times during their lifetime in their particular reproductive period. So they can breed many times. Can I consider over here mammals? Yes or no? Can I consider over here mammals? Yes. Right? During that reproductive period, it can reproduce their progeny many times. It can breed many times, right? So one example, mammals, other you can take birds. Most of the birds shows this condition. So first, in this point of view, that either organism reproduce only once in their lifetime or else many. Once in their lifetime, example, Pacific salmon fish and bamboo, and many times mammals and the birds, right? Next thing, one more type of strategy is there. Some organism produced, right? Their offsprings are small sized. Offspring size is small, but their numbers are more, large number. Small size offspring, but large in number, right? In that examples, oyster, pelagic fishes, and so many other examples are there. But remember, first examples given in your textbook. Small size, large number. Exactly opposite is the second strategy. Large sized, but small in number. Small in number. Offsprings are formed, which is a large size, but small in number. Can I take your example again? Mammals, humans in that. Can I take example over here? Mammals, offspring is a large size, but small in number. Yes or no? Yes, right? So large size, small number. In that one example, mammals, again same way, birds. Right? So remember, some organism breed only once in their lifetime, some breed many times. Other strategies, some breed, some produced large number, small size, some produce small number, large size offspring. Right? See, this thing is dependent on, okay, why this type of variations are there. So just imagine, आपको पता है salmon fish है, right? This salmon fish just reproduce only once in their lifetime, and one time it produce millions of progeny. Just imagine, अगर ये repeatedly reproduction behavior होता है इसमें, then आपको ओशन दिखेगा, ओशन इज फिल्ड विथ फुल ऑफ दिस सैल्मन फिश, यस और नो? आर यू ऑल गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? So due to this, okay, one thing, that organism living in that particular habitat, what type of other organism, that's the biotic components are there, abiotic components are there, this thing only depend on their ecosystem in which they are living, right? So evolution of life history traits in different species. Now what is okay, how the species are evolved, that is the main interesting important area for research that is being conducted by ecologists nowadays. So in this topic mainly you have to learn these 4 lines, highlight karke rakhna these 4 lines in your textbook. Some organism breed only one time, some many times, with example either small size large number or vice versa, large size small number, right? And see, आपके पास ये 2 कंडीशन है, that small number and large size offspring. Other condition is large number and small size offspring, right? I told you na, R value, small r, for that reproductive fitness, natural rate increase, right? So R value, I told you one more thing, more number of birth, R value higher. So can you tell me, for this A statement or B statement, that R value becomes higher? Natural rate of increase, that value becomes, that comes higher in case of which one? A or B? Correct, Swati? Okay, because R value, that indicates what? Number of progeny, natality rate more. Yes, Harshil, correct. Tanvi, correct. Yes. So if more number of progeny, R value also higher, right? So remember, for B, where large number of progeny are there, size doesn't matter over here, but the number of progeny. So large number of progeny, remember, it shows R value higher. This is your, okay, NEET question. NEET में था ये, I think 2016 phase 2, right? Now next thing, one more. So this one we call R selection. ये इसका another term है, that's the R selection. Same way, one more thing is there, small K selection. K selection कब बोलेंगे? जब birth rate is low, means less number of progeny are formed. If less number of progeny, right, that we can consider as a K selection, where less natality or low natality. बोले क्लियर है? R selection, K selection, you have to remember in this way. If high natality rate, birth rate is high, R selection, R value higher. If low natality rate, remember K selection. All of you, give your answer. Are you all clear, first of all, with this? Now, one more thing, okay? One more step, little bit higher. You know the carrying capacity. Yes or no? You know the carrying capacity, right? In logistic growth, you have learned that. So, can you tell me, if natality is higher, R value higher, and other is the natality, birth rate is low. So in which condition over here, okay, in which one? That, see, one thing, when birth rate is more, over here one condition is also there, that here high degree of predation is also threat of which one? High degree of predation is also there. So no doubt number of organisms are more, but at the same time that organisms are eaten by the other organism, predation rate higher, right? So though the number of organisms more, very few organisms are there, they reach to their carrying capacity. They reach to their carrying capacity. One is a predation, other is there. If more number of organism, then it's the same type of organism, same species. So their behavior pattern, food pattern, right, habitat, everything is same. So in between them competition occur, right, to get each and everything. So this is also reason that only the fittest organism that reach to their carrying capacity, right? Very few organisms reach to their carrying capacity, though the birth rate is high, because here so much competition is there. Next, that's the case selection, where the natality is low, birth rate is low. That the things which are needed for the growth of that organism, that is optimum, because few organisms are there, less competition for food space, right? So they can easily hear the more members that reach to the carrying capacity. So though the birth rate is higher, but in between the competition is there. Due to that aspect, very few are there that reach to the higher, that's the carrying capacity. In case of the other condition where low birth rate, less number of progeny, so this thing indicates what's over here, that though the few organism, but maximum organism here reach to their carrying capacity. बोलिए क्लियर है आपको ये? All of you clear? Write down. Yes, good. Right. So remember R selection, key selection for NEET, and these 4 lines for NEET, that breeding related, right? 4 lines for your board exam as well as NEET exam. Right. So now the next topic, that's the population interaction. Now, population, for the same species. When same species group, we call population, right? Now, one population, meaning one species that interact with the other species. One species means one population. Suppose here, consider that's a tiger population. Here, that's the deer population, right? So, tiger communicates, interact with the deer, right? So, one as a predator, no doubt, in any form, parasite form, predator form, any form, benefit form also. But species shows the interaction with each other. So that we call the population interaction. Have you seen any habitat in your surrounding? Okay, that in any habitat, only one type of species can grow, or one type of species are growing. Have you seen? Only one type. Plants agar hai, garden hai, तो only plants are growing, or with the plants some insects are also growing. Soil है तो soil में तो insects मिलेंगे, earthworm होंगे. Are you all clear first this thing? Okay. So species, remember, they interact with each other, right? You know the food chain, right? Grasses are there. Suppose grassland ecosystem hai, so grasses are there. Grasses are eaten by the herbivores. That the goat, suppose consider over here. Goats eaten by the tiger, right? So one by one species, tiger interacts, okay, get the food from that goat, goat get the food from the plants, right? Now, so here tiger get the food from the that goat or deer, okay, whatever herbivore, and this herbivore get the food from the plants. But plant, the plants. right? Plants are autotrophic organism. They can prepare their own food. So plants can easily survive alone, yes or no? Or they also need some interaction with other organisms? Tell me, plants can alone survive in any habitat? No, right? Why? Because to growth of the plant, you know what minerals are required, right? And this minerals actually comes from where? By dead bodies, from the dead bodies when decomposition occurs. And to do this decomposition, decomposers are required, certain microbes are required, which helps in to convert this organic compounds which are present in the dead bodies into inorganic form. Because you know, plants only can uptake inorganic elements, not the organic. Plants directly protein absorb nahi karta hai, not to that carbohydrate. It absorb the elements which make this compound, right? So plant species are there which makes its own food autotrophic, but they cannot survive alone. They needs microbes in a soil which increases this inorganic nutrients so they can easily grow, right? Just one more example. Can you imagine one more that's the with plant? Plants can live without pollinators, or plants can grow without pollinators. Yes or no? No, again, right? Because pollination is required. Without pollinating agents, how the pollination can take place, pollen transfer process occur, right? So, though autotrophic or heterotrophic organism, each and every organism needs another organism. Means they communicate with other organism, they interact with the other organism, right? Now, when interaction occur at that time, some type of interactions are there, they beneficial for that species, some type that in which they may be harmful, right? And in other interactions are there in which no effect, means no benefit, no harmful. This type of conditions are there. So now we are going to discuss one by one this different types of interactions over here. First type of interaction, mutualism. Mutualism, another term we call symbiosis. Can you give me any example of mutualism or symbiosis? You have learned. Can you give me? Yes, lichen. Very good. Lichen, mycorrhiza. Yes, very good. Okay. So lichen, mycorrhiza, algae and fungi both gets benefit from each other. Same for mycorrhiza, roots of higher plants and fungus association. So here one species, suppose we consider that's the roots of higher plants. Species B, we consider that's the which one? That's the fungus for mutualism. So both the species they interact with each other, both get benefit from each other. Benefit के लिए first of all plus sign, harmful detrimental के लिए minus, and no effect for that zero, right? So here both the organisms get benefit from each other. So we write plus plus sign in both. That indicates mutualism. First clear mutualism, for that remember plus plus sign because both the organisms that involved over here or both the species, they get benefit from each other, right? Chalo, second one, that is competition, right? Competition, competition during in that none of the species get benefit. आपने सिंपल भी देखा होगा ओके मूवीज में और सब WWF, right? Competition occur. So during that, only one person get harm or both, right? So both, correct answer. So both the organisms which are involved over here interact with each other. They get harm. None of the species they get benefit, or none of the member of that competition that get benefit. So here minus sign for both the species. Remember, minus sign for both the species because no one get benefit over here by competing, right? Next, predation, right? Next type of interaction that we call the predation. So predation in that, you know, very well known example टाइगर. आप कोई भी दैट सेंचुरीज में जाओ या फिर नेशनल पार्क, सपोज टाइगर रिजर्व में जा रहे हो तो टाइगर है, टाइगर के साथ वहां पे आपको डियर्स भी मिलेंगे ही. व्हेन यू विजिट ना एनी नेशनल पार्क, टाइगर सपोज ना मिले बट डियर्स तो आपको मिलेंगे, वो तो ऑब्जर्व करके ही आओगे. यस और नो, राइट? सो टाइगर इज अ कार्निवोर, deer is a herbivore. Carnivore, you know, eats the herbivore to get the food, to get the energy. So one deer को इससे कुछ भी benefit नहीं है, but tiger gets the benefit when these two organisms interact with each other, right? So suppose we consider species A for tiger, species B of deer. So tiger gets benefit by predation. It acts as a predator, and this one become prey. So species B that is actually killed, right? Species B that is actually killed, harmed. So killed hota hai or else the harm. So it's a detrimental effect. That's why we write minus sign. So predation, remember, for one species plus sign, other that's a minus. Next, there's a parasitism. Parasitism in that, you know, two organisms are involved, but one which we call host, other that we call the parasite, right? Like example, parasite plasmodium, right? Plasmodium, can you tell me plasmodium depends on the host or host depends on the plasmodium? Which condition? Parasite depends on the host or host depends on the parasite? Yes, right? Parasite depends on the host. Plasmodium, which causes a malaria. Okay. And by that way, it somehow damage, it shows the detrimental effect to the host, right? It shows the detrimental. आप देखो ectoparasites होते हैं, some are ectoparasites, lice, head, that's a head louse. Okay, from external surface, it suck the blood. Next, leech, you can take example, right? So parasites are there. This parasite gets benefit from the host. So species they consider as a parasite, and host consider species be consider as a host. So parasite get benefit, but host actually over here detrimental effect, right? So that's why for one species that's a plus sign, for other that's a minus. Next thing, that's a commensalism. Okay, ये फोर तो आपने लर्न किए होंगे, आपने हर्ड भी किए होंगे, but the now new two terms, that's a commensalism. Now commensalism in that, one of the example, you know, epiphytic plant, we have learned epiphytic plants, if you remember. Epiphytic plants, they grow on the aerial parts of other stem, right? So suppose consider this is the support, or you can take a host. Over here the epiphytic plant is grow, right? Now epiphytic plants, if you remember, they don't get nourishment from this supporting plant. It, right? They don't get nourishment, no food, no water, but it just get what over here, support. So epiphytic plant को तो ये benefit है support, बट इससे कुछ सपोर्टिंग प्लांट को बेनिफिट होगा? यस और नो? एपिफाइटिक प्लांट ग्रोन ऑन द सपोर्टिंग प्लांट, सो एपिफाइटिक प्लांट गेट सपोर्ट, बट इससे सपोर्टिंग प्लांट को कोई भी बेनिफिट है और हार्मनेस है? यस और नो? टेल मी. Right, no, right? So no benefit, no harmness. So that's why for one species we consider over here plus sign, and other which do not get harm or benefit we write zero, and that show type of interaction we called commensalism. That type of interaction we called commensalism, in that one species get benefit, other get not harm, not benefit, not affected, in short. Right? Last one. Understand this. Okay. First five though theory in details given, but commensalism not given in detail in your textbook. So commensalism. Commensalism in that both species interact with each other, but one species be harmed and other not affected. Very simple example for this, that see, elephants are there. Okay, very simple example. So many examples are there. Here, one of the example, elephant. Okay, when elephant start moving, walking, stepping. So over here at the ground level, other organisms are there. Insects are there. Yes or no? Ants are there, and physical insect. But insects are there. These insects are killed due to the steppings of this elephant. Yes or no? Insects are killed due to the stepping of the this elephant. So इससे elephant को कुछ भी benefit है? No, right? But what about that insect? Insect के लिए आप कौन सा sign लिखोगे? Plus, minus और zero? Correct. Minus, right? Because these insects are killed, right? It's a detrimental effect. So this is the simplest example of commensalism. Remember that one organism, commensalism in that which one? That one organism is there, they get harmed, but other organism do not get harm or benefit, right? This type of interaction we call commensalism, right? This type of interaction we call commensalism. Fully. Are you all clear, first of all, with brief introduction of all this interaction? If you have any doubt, you can ask me now. Commensalism, one more example which you have learned actually. Remember algal bloom? Terror of Bengal? Iconia growing? Yes or no? Right? So algal bloom is formed. Just a second. Algal bloom is there. So algal bloom grow, right? And which cover in aquatic medium, and that covers the entire surface, which we actually this species has the ability to grow very fast. So it covers the external surface of that aquatic bodies, and due to that, and it start drains the oxygen. Remember that concept, and that leads to the killing of that's the death of species. So इससे फिशेस तो हार्म हो रहे, बट algal bloom से इससे कोई इफेक्ट है? No, right? This is also example of this commensalism, right? Now, some question answer first. चलिए, can anyone explain me mutualism quickly, fast? Okay, both species get benefit. Okay, for that plus plus, just write down the signs for mutualism with sign. Yes, plus plus. Next, for competition, yes, minus minus. Next, for predation, correct, correct, plus minus. Next, after that, parasitism, correct, again same. Correct. Next, commensalism, correct. And amensalism, correct. Right? Now, see, I'm going to first take that's the commensalism, which is a small topic, right? A second. Can anyone tell me, first of all, what is commensalism? You have write the signs, right? But now you have to tell me. Unmute and speak. Sakshi, can you try? What is commensalism? Quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
Bolo.
In an interaction where one of the species is benefited and the
Hmm.
other species is neither benefited and nor there is loss to
Yes,
that
yes,
species.
yes. Neutral effect, right? Now, next that can any I have given one example. Can anyone tell me what is that example? Swati,
Yes, ma'am. The example may be epiphytic plants, which take the support of other plants.
yes, correct. Right? So first, commensalism, that's the interaction in which one species benefit and the other neither harm nor benefited. One of the example, first example, okay, very easy topic, commensalism. Just remember examples, right? And remain that concept in your mind that one species benefit, other neither harm or benefit. So one that orchid plant, this is a mango tree, right? Can you able to make out over here on this mango tree, one more that the species are growing, right? This is the orchid. This is the which one? Orchid plant. Orchid, you know, epiphytic, see, growing on a branches of the stem, right? Growing on a other plant. So orchid growing as an epiphyte, just take to the support, right, on a mango branch. That is, so here mango plant doesn't get benefit from this, so we write 0 for this mango plant. But this orchid plant get benefit by getting the support, so we write the plus. So this is one of the example for commensalism. Remember, orchid plant growing on a mango branch as a epiphyte, right? Now one more example. Next example, that, just a second. Sorry. Okay, second example, that barnacles growing on a well. Okay, barnacles growing on a well. So barnacles, first of all, if we can make out in this diagram, in this picture, that barnacles are there. These barnacles are growing on a well. Can you make out this? Barnacles, right? Barnacles growing on a well. So barnacles getting space over there, and as and when that whales move, with that barnacles also move, and barnacles, okay, get food. Barnacles get food from that different habitat, as means as well move, it gets the different types of food even over here. So barnacles get benefit, but well से इससे कोई benefit नहीं है, right? So remember this, for barnacle we write plus sign, and for well we write 0 sign. So barnacles growing on a well, that is another example. Remember, for commensalism, first we have learned orchid mango, second we have learned that's the barnacles growing on a well. Next, third example, cattle egret. ये तो सबने देखा होगा फार्म में ऐसा, yes or no? Buffalo के साथ, और cattle, right? Anything, cow, buffalo, that egrets are there. This bird, egrets, right? Commonly we call that the cattle egret. So association of the cattle egret and the grazing cattle. It might be a cow, buffalo, right? Now, egret, remember, egret bird, that do what over here? So when cattle, okay, as they move, stir up and flush out the insect. कैटल की बॉडी पे से क्या है, ओके ओके, वहां पे इंसेक्ट्स जो होंगे, दे स्टार्ट फ्लश आउट, एंड दिस insects captured by this egret, right? So जहां पे भी cattles हो गए ना, always we actually found this type of the egrets over here. That's why these egrets are known as the cattle egret, right? So cattle egrets over here, remember, egrets get benefit over here. They get the food in terms of that insect. So while, one more thing, when the cattles are moving, so यहाँ पे जो आपको grasses दिख रहे हैं, over here so many insects are there. Okay, so these insects are start moving from here, and these insects are also captured by this cattle egret. See, यहाँ पे वो capturing के लिए है. So that's why while cattle move, insects are flushed out from the grasses, right? And these insects are captured by cattle egrate word. So cattle egrate gets benefit, but cattle do not get benefit by moving, okay, with that association of the egrate. So for cattle we write 0, but egrate we write plus sign. Next, that's the last example for this commensalism is sea anemone and the clone fish. Just see this picture first. Can you make out over here the sea anemone and the fish? Fish and sea anemone. Sea anemone, as you know, okay, it has the tentacles. Stinging tentacles are there. So here interaction occurs between sea anemone and the fish. That fish, that fish name is a clone fish. Okay, this fish name is a which one? Clone fish. So always this clone fish, right? It lives. It lives, remember, with this sea anemone. Okay. So sea anemone has what? Stinging tentacles. So fish get protection from predators and which stay away from the stinging tentacles. Here this fish get the protection from their predators, right? How? Because they live with the sea anemone. Sea anemone has these tentacles. These tentacles, okay, due to the presence of these tentacles, predators, okay, predators do not prefer to eat these fish. So the sea anemone is there. It doesn't get benefit over here to okay, that shows association with the clone fish. But this clone fish get the benefit, right? How? So it gets the protection with the help of tentacles of sea anemone, right? So for sea anemone we write 0 sign, and for fish we write the plus sign, right? Remember sea anemone which has the stinging tentacles, and due to this tentacles, presence of these tentacles, predators, okay, avoid that fish which living with the sea anemone. That name is the clone fish, right? So commensalism, first remember simply in this way, the definition that one species benefit, other remain, that's the neutral, not harm, not benefited. In that first example, orchid plant grow on a mango branch as epiphyte. Second example, remember, that's the barnacles grow on the well. Third example, cattle migrate and the grazing cattle, right? Generally rural areas में ये आपको दिखेंगे farm में. Next, and the fourth one, that is sea anemone and the clone fish. बोलिए, clear है? All of you clear? Entire commensalism topic. Quickly, just I am giving you the example. You have to write for that example that either plus sign or 0, right? Minus नहीं होता commensalism में, so plus and 0. चलिए. Cattle migrate. Quickly write down. For cattle migrate, with sign? Correct, plus. Next, sea anemone. Zero, correct. Next, orchid plant. Yes, correct. Very good. Next, barnacles. Correct. Plus sign. Right? Okay, if you have any doubt in this topic, you can ask me, or else now you may leave now. In the next class, we will continue the further, that is population interaction.